What up, YouTube? It's your boy Polymerization, guys. You know what we do. Y'all been asking for the update on my prank kids. I'm gonna give it to y'all. But before I go any further, if you ain't subscribed, guys, be one of my fellow materials, guys. Be part of the family, and we can fuse this great channel together. But I want to talk about more about the prank kids and more everything. I know the meta's changed a little bit. A lot of people think prank kids ain't really tier 1 status. They're honestly tier 1.5. They're still really good. They're a 1-card combo. There's a few things, if you watched the old one I had of where the prank kids was going like first place and demolishing my locals, even with meta decks, I was still knowing how to play it. It does take a big brain deck, I'm not gonna lie. Also, at the end of the video, guys, I'm gonna talk about a combo where it does a triple board wipe with just 2 prank kids. Yes, usually everybody talks about this being a 1-card starter. I want to talk about showing a 2-card combo that literally gives you a triple board wipe. But without further ado, guys, let's get into the deck profile. Yeah. Okay, everybody, let's get into a deck profile. First, I want to talk about, we're going to show all the prank kids. Usually, the prank kids are all the same. You're still going to run 3 of all the prank kids. 3 Dropsies, 3 Lampsies, 3 Roxies, and even 3 Lampsies. A lot of people are actually cutting the Roxies. I don't see why you want to cut the Roxies. You want every starter. The Roxies is still very important in my opinion. And like I said, it's all the prank kids, still the same. I am in the hand traps. I am running triple Ash. Ash is still like a generic everywhere like great card. I mean, there's no reason why you shouldn't run Ash. It overall just a great card. Now, a spice card I am using, because of the way the meta is, I am actually running 2 Skullmeisters. Now, Skullmeister is one of those cards that just, like, stops stuff in the graveyard. I like Meister better than I do Ghost Spell, because Meister still negates stuff in the graveyard, even if they pay for cost. What I mean by that is, when a card activates in grave, it's going to resolve in the grave. So Skullmeister is really good for that, and I still like this card a lot, especially with the current meta. I also run triple Artifact Lancia. I would have to say, like, your worst matchup for this deck, I believe, would have to be, like, Dinosaurs. Because Ultimate Conductor is just an evil card. It Book of Moons your prank kids, and you more or less just can't win with that one card. So, having Lancia kind of helps you out the Dinosaur matchup more than anything, in my opinion. I feel like that's the worst matchup for us, more than any other deck. So, that's why, and reason I'm running Lancia. Now, one thing a lot of people might not agree with me on this, but I do believe it's all about consistency. I am actually running 2 King of the Swamps. Now, you got to hear me on this. The reason I run King of Swamp is because I feel like polymerization and, extending having that toad or that one negate is very, very important in today's current meta. You need that negate more than anything. And plus, you want to have it where if you get stuck in that 5th summon, you ain't got to worry about Nibiru. And it's very important. I mean, there's actually been times King of Swamp has come in clutch in so many ways. Even if you find it that you don't like it, it's a good side target. You can always side it out. So it helps your siding a lot easier, because this deck can be very hard to side as well. Another thing with King of Swamp, if you don't seem like you have your 3 materials for Battle Butler, you can actually use King of Swamp as one of the materials, whether it be the Lampsies, the Dropsies, or the Fansies. Either one. But 2 is really all you need. You don't really need a 3rd. Now, going into the spells, since we talked about King of Swamp, I do run 3 polymerizations. There's a lot of mixed feelings in the prank kid community talking about where they should run polymerization. Should they run like 3 of the prank kid's Pandemonium, Thunder Dragon Fusion? There's a lot of mixed emotions going on. Even ultra polymerization. There's a lot of weird things going on. But I feel like 3 polymerizations is a given. Like I said, I feel like this format, you need to establish that very consistent board that's going to give you a negate, a way that you can get through a lot more and extend a lot more, in my opinion, too. Which is really key important here. Talking about the fusion stuff, we also run 2 Pandemoniums. I don't feel like you need a 3rd. One reason I like polymerization 2 more is because you're always going to not be locked in the prank kids. Pandemonium, you're going to be locked in the prank kids after you do this. So the polymerization seems like it keeps you from getting locked out, and it's more consistent. It's a lot better for you. I feel like if you play the other variants, it's good for late game, but prank kids are really good about out-resourcing your opponent, so I don't see why you need to worry about the late game that much. two's good enough. You can always search it out, so it's no big deal. And I run the one Instant Fusion. I mean, Instant Fusion is just amazing in this deck. I mean, it does so much for you. If we had this back at 3, oh my god, you could just imagine this deck. It wouldn't be 1.5 no more. It would literally be tier 1. Going into the field spell stuff, I actually run 1 set rotation and 1 terraforming. I still think the field spells, getting them out fast as possible is very important. And going back into the fusion stuff, I actually do run 1 fusion recycling plant. I mean, just getting that poly is amazing. Another thing that's great about fusion recycling plant, if you decide to give it to your opponent, you know, it's no big deal. You have that card to get rid of. But you can always have it on your turn if you need that poly that bad. So, and plus, if you use materials, you can add 1 back. And the best thing is, say if you used all your polymerizations are in grave, this will actually let you add your polymerization back from the graveyard to your hand. So, that's really cool. I really love that more than anything. Now, the field spells, I actually do run 2 of the Print Kid's place. I don't really think you need a 3rd. I mean, you have so many starters in this deck that helps you go off. So, having a 3rd feels a little bricky to me. I mean, you have all the Print Kids, you have terraforming, you have set rotation, you have this. That's a lot of starters, guys. I mean, granted, a well-timed Ash might hurt, but I mean, that's kind of like any Yu-Gi-Oh deck. You just want to take that with a grain of salt. I mean, 2 works great for me. A lot of people say right now Mystic Mine is not the greatest because of Virtual World with the trap, but the one thing I love about Mystic Mine is it stops so much stuff. Even if Virtual World, you know, it is a hard matchup. But if you're going first and you establish the Mystic Mine, you know, loop or lock or whatever, even then they can't activate the trap the turn that they put on the field. So, like, I still feel like this is still good. You can slow your opponent down in so many ways. Even with the rogue decks you go up against, this card is still going to win you a lot of matches. Granted, Virtual World's hardest matchup is the Drytron, so putting this on Drytrons, it's like, really good. I mean, they most of the time will pass turn in some form or way if they can if they can pop it. But other than that, it's still amazing. Another thing that I am doing personally is I'm actually running 3 Book of Moon. Now, this wasn't in my last profile. I feel like Book of Moon is actually went to the next level of like just a key card that you need. I know a lot of people like are going first decks. They're mostly putting like Torrential Tribute, Compulse, you know, stuff like that. Traps that's really kind of like defeating a lot of stuff. But I feel like Book of Moon is so much better. And a lot of times you have that hard matchup against Virtual World. So instead of using the impermanence, you actually Book of Moon, their synchro that banishes stuff when it leaves from field. So I feel like Book of Moon's better. Plus, if you have the Conductor matchup against dinosaurs and you're going 1 second, you can actually Book of Moon the Conductor. Book of Moon seems so much better in so many ways and gets rid of Polymath monsters so much easier and so honestly better than what Impermanence was. Because Impermanence has kind of felt out of the format. So I feel like this is better all around. Now, the last card is Print Kid's Plan. I feel like this is a one of more than anything. I don't really see anybody ever running this more than 1. I've even some people don't even run this no more. But there's a lot of times, you know, people don't read cards and they forget this is sitting in your graveyard. And then when you recycle so many Print Kids and then they take damage, oh, it just makes you laugh and smile because your opponent just does not read or doesn't remember. But that is it, guys. It is a 40 card deck. We'll go straight into the extra deck. Before I go into extra deck, guys, remember, if you ain't a subscriber, guys, be one of my fellow materials, guys. Join the family, guys. This is an amazing channel. We can grow, guys. Come on. Alright, so we're going to extra deck. I do run 2 Meow Meows. It's just so fun saying these names. I can never get over it. So, Meow Meow is an amazing card. This is literally what put the deck over the top. We needed this more than anything. Konami must have been listening. I don't know why. 2 seems good enough. I don't really ever see the 3rd. Most time you banish 1, the other one you just recycle back and then you just use it again. So 2's good enough there on the Meow Mouse. 2 Doo-Doo-Doos. This is almost like a standard extra deck. There's a little difference in some people in their own opinion. Depends on your locals too. But I feel like 2 Doo-Doo-Doos is good enough. You know, Chain Block, you can actually add a bunch of stuff, so that's don't need to explain for those. I do run 2 Bow Wow Barks. I've seen some people put this at 1. I feel like 2 is necessary. because you can also extend so much better when you're going into the late game or certain matchups where you need to extend more than anything. So this really comes in handy. I still run the one Rooster. I talked about my last video with Prank Kids how I feel like Rooster was not that great at the time, but now Rooster is just amazing, guys. So many people play back row stuff right now. Like, Rooster just kills those people. It's amazing. I love this card. It's crazy how the format will change off of just one little thing. Into the fusions, I run 2 Rocket. Rocket is just so good, guys. Like, he is what the Mystic Mind loop does. A burn, attack, burn, attack, burn, attack. And your opponent can't play. And you just slowly dwindle away. Usually your opponent lose their cool and they scoop. So, it's still amazing. I play the 1 Weather Washer. I don't feel like you need 2 or 3 Weather Washers. No reason for. Weather Washer is just good for weird scenarios. I mean, it comes up every once in a while, but it's good to have regardless. And I'm actually running 1 Butler. I don't really see myself ever running a second Butler. I don't run Thunder Dragon Fusion, so I don't really need the Thunder Dragon Fusion to run a second Butler. So it goes hand in hand, honestly. Now, if you were to run a second Butler, I would say run a Thunder Dragon Fusion if you're going to run a second Butler more than anything. Okay, now into the stuff that's not Prank Kid relevant. I run 1 Nightmare Unicorn. Nightmare Unicorn is really good for the next card I'm going to show you because it just makes it so much easier for wins. Access Code Talker. This card, man, this card's went up in so much price. I feel sorry for those that didn't get it earlier when it was cheaper. But this card literally gives you like a better win condition. If you can't do Access Code Talker, I would say get you a Boral Sword. Boral Sword is probably a little bit better. So, just key advice, this card is still good. But if you can't do it, get a sword. Into the XZs, I'm actually running Totally Awesome. Like I said earlier, this puts you up in the negate. You just do 2 Dropsies, and there you go. You got a Totally Awesome. Cool thing of Totally Awesome is, too, like, it's really key when you use the King of the Swamp. If you already used your King of the Swamp and Totally Awesome goes to grave, you can still recover King of the Swamp from grave or to add another poly, guys. And another thing is, so if, like, you have King of the Swamp in your hand, you didn't use it, it's just kind of an extra card in hand. For Totally Awesome go off, you could actually just use that King of the Swamp for your hand for your negate with Totally Awesome. So there's a lot of synergy there that works a lot better. And then the last one is number 75. 75 is really good just in case for some odd reason, you're stuck in using all your waters and you can't really get to the field. So you have a backup plan. You can go into Lampsies and do two level 3s, and then there you go. It works just as good, has a good big booty. So I still love this card. It's really good. Now, we go into the side deck. Side deck is personal preference, but I want to show you guys what works for me and even how I'm siding a little bit. So, I have the 3rd Skull Meister because, like I said, everything's grave relevant, guys. Everybody needs their grave. So, there's no point in me going back over this. It's just if you know if it's a matchup that really needs their grave, whether it be dinosaurs, virtual world, Drytrons, anything that needs their grave, this is the way to go. 2 Nibiru's because Nibiru is really good against those combo decks. They're still out there. Virtual Worlds for the most part. There's other decks that combo off, so it's always good to have just in case. Another thing I don't see many people run of is I actually run 3 Twin Twisters, guys. Yeah, so where back row is so heavy right now, I feel like Twin Twisters is so good in this deck. Like, yeah, you're a -1, but you're a 1-card starter deck, so why does it matter? Like, you could run Cosmic, because, I mean, it doesn't matter if you want to run Cosmic, but because you pay 1,000, but you just gain 1,000 back with Dropsies. But Twin Twister will actually help you get rid of more problems more than just one. So, I feel like Twin Twister is a little better. You could probably run the Cosmic if you're more worried about Eldritch. I get that, but I like this. And, of course, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, because it gets rid of the back row. If you can't get a Harpy's Feather Duster, I would say, hey, True Nade's probably the next best card to use instead. But it's just, you know, to each your own. This is what I use. Another thing that I've been doing a lot lately, and this is kind of a spice side, is I've been running 3 Light Imprisoning Mirrors. Now, if you look at the meta right now, a lot of times the Drytrons are lights, Dogmatica's lights, Eldritch is lights. Everything's light, guys. I mean, you just flop this and your opponent can't play. This is like an auto win against a lot of decks right now in the meta. So playing this and you know we're going first, it's just easy win. I mean, you don't run nothing light, so why does it matter? Talking about all the other meta cards, I do run 3 drone lockbirds in the side. For the most part, because of Drytron. Drytron does add a lot. Same thing with Virtual. Virtual adds a lot too. So these are kind of like win conditions that help you like win the game so much better. And another thing I'm actually running just in case I go against those hard matchups, I actually run 2 Mistaken Arrests. Same thing, guys. I mean, it's just helps you consistency. Like, make sure when you go first, you're going to have that out for those matchups. So it helps you win your game so much better. But yeah, guys, that is the main deck, extra deck, and the side deck, which is a 40-card main deck, 15-15. But you know what, guys? Let's go into that combo tutorial, and I'll show you the 2-card Prank Kid combo, guys. Yeah, triple board white. Let's go. Okay, guys, this is the triple board board wipe combo. The only thing you need is 2 different Prank Kids. It doesn't matter which ones they are, as long as they're 2 different ones. It's not that hard. It's very easy. You just got to remind yourself which ones you use and which ones you don't use. So, for the namesake of this, let's just say that we got Dropsies and Lampsies, okay? So, what you're going to do, you're going to normal summon one of these, and we're just going to put this down here so you can see it, that I'm keeping it in my hand. You normal summon the Lampsies, just like anything else. You're going to link that away. We'll put the graveyard right here, and that's going to make your Meow Meow. Of course, you'll go drop a Lampsies effect. Now, when its effect goes off, you want to summon, the one that's not in hand. Make sure. So, make sure it's something different. So, we'll do the Fansies. Alright, so Fansies is summoned to the field. Now that Fansies is on the field, you're going to link 2 again. So, you're going to link these 2 away. Trying to keep the graveyard so you can see everything over here that's going on, guys. So, with doing that, you're actually going to bring out your Doodle Doodle Doo. Now, Doodle Doodle Doo is on the board. You're going to use Fansies effect. And you're going to do this. Most of the time you're going to go like Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. So you'll usually special summon the last one you're not in your hand. It cannot be the same. It always has to be different. And then with do, you're going to add the Pandemonium. Alright? So there's the Pandemonium, guys. Now, with the Pandemonium, you are actually going to activate it here. Using the 2 you have not used, that's already engraved. Make sure they're opposite, guys. I cannot stress that enough. Has to be different. So you're going to fuse these 2 together, Dropsies and Roxies, and you're going to make your Rocket. Now, Rocket is on the field, so just to chain block some more here, you want to make sure that you use their effects in like Chain Link 1, 2, and 3. Make sure the Rocket is the 3rd. That way it don't get ashed more than anything. Alright, so by doing that, you're going to special them. It doesn't matter what Prank Kids it is. It could be anything that you've already used. It doesn't matter. We're just going to use them as link fodder more than anything. So, next you're going to do, you're going to link those 2 away, whatever they was, into your Bow Wow Bark. Now, since you have Bow Wow Bark and Rooster, you're going to link these 2 into your Rooster. Now that Rooster's on the board, you've used your 2 links and they're gone. So use Rocket's effect to tribute itself, bringing back your Doo-Doo-Doo-Doo and your Bow Wow Bark. This is very important, guys. You got to make sure you do it this way for it to work. Now, before you end your turn, use Doo-Doo-Doo's effect, because you have not used it. Tribute away and add back. It doesn't matter. You definitely want your Pandemonium. That is for one you definitely want in hand. And then any of the Prank Kids, whether it be the Dropsies, the Fansies, or the Lampsies. Whichever one you want or don't have in hand at all. Because you've only used 2 cards for this whole combo, guys. So, what you're going to do is you're going to set the Pandemonium, which we're going to move a little bit so I can see it. So, the Pandemonium's set even though it's face up. I'm just saying it's set. So, during your opponent's turn, you're going to use Bow Wow's Bark effect to tribute it away. Since I already added the Dropsies in hand, I am actually going to add the other key components. The Fansies and the Lampsies. This way, during your opponent's main phase, you can actually activate your Pandemonium. Granted, you gotta wait for your opponent to respond first because they have priority, but as soon as you got the chance to, or if you time it right for certain matchups, activate your Pandemonium using your 3 Prank Kids to make your Butler. So Butler is on the field now. Most of the time in this scenario, I'll mostly tell people to make sure when you go back into like special and off effects of Fansies, Lampsies, and Dropsies, Usually on the Lamseys and the not the Dropsies, the Lamseys and Fansies, go ahead and special your other 2 water. That way you're set up next turn for a totally awesome. And then depending if you want to burn your opponent or do something else, just put any other monster you want over here. Now, granted, it's going to suck if you already have another Dropsies in hand. It is what it is. But this sets you up for a Toad next turn, and it helps you a lot better. So, right now, as you look at the board, and this is still your opponent's turn, if they decide to summon a bunch of monsters, it's a monster deck, combo deck. You have a Butler that can go off twice, regardless what you do, because you have Meow Meow. And then, if they set cards, you could go Rip Roaring Rooster, and then you can Harpy's Feather Duster to the back row. So, this is a double Regeki with the Feather Duster, triple board wipe. Or, if it's a back row deck, guys, like a back row that's playing nothing, let's say Altergeist, stuff like that, needs their back row. You can literally just go triple Harpy's Feather Duster, go once when they set stuff, and then if they set even more stuff, like their whole hand, just tribute again. And for some odd reason, they do put a monster on board, whether it be Meliseek or something, just Battle Butler, guys. I mean, that's a triple board wipe. This is the combo for it. You know what, guys? I hope you... sorry, guys. I'm too excited. This is just so good. You have no idea. So, but guys, if you ain't a fellow subscriber, be one of my fellow materials, guys. And you know what? I'll catch you next time. Love you guys.